85, still alive. Permanent World War III, growing for a decade out of Russia, Europe, America, and the Jewish and Muslim Middle East, now rushes towards the nuclear death of your family, unless you fast enforce progressive disarmament world peace that 10 millennia crushed humanity never had a sniff at, much less enjoyed for 5 freaking minutes. Ukraine, now forever flush with drones from Britain, Latvia, and China, just exploded 140 against Russian targets in Russia. Many deliberate attacks on civilian homes, killing 1 innocent near Moscow. Terrorism, accused Russia, just this once stating the truth. Never mind their invasion's purposeful murder of 100,000 Ukrainian civilians. Beyond massive military gifts from America and 24 other NATO nations, American money funding much of Zelensky's government allows him to buy drones to kill Russian civilians in Russia with until Putin certainly settles the issue with nuclear slaughter of millions in Ukraine, next killing you, as I have research proven, not merely predicted. While China, in every other instance, fully backs Putin's rape of Ukraine and rules most of its citizens with iron dictatorship, their weapons companies remain blissfully free to sell to Russia's attacked victim identical, if numerically fractional, murder of Russian innocents. Now you understand that Chinese war profiteers, like all death dealers everywhere, rule hell. I mean the world, by fueling both sides of scores of wars, an American tradition impossible not to emulate. All political priority to slightly favored chosen winners, only after decades of lucrative stalemate slaughter first, is merely leader-lackey Plan B. And corporate killers Plan A? Just our money, honey! While American company death receipts have reached $70 trillion in today's bucks since World War II, Iran sells Russia an ever-growing supply of 75-mile range ballistic missiles for frontline advancement battering, freeing up North Korean 400-mile rocket bombs to murder children all over Ukraine. The definition of all superpowers, contract genocide, not just paltry little killers for hire. I'm adding your last 85th speech to my American Congress President and presidential candidate mailing, although it's really your lawless taxes, U.S. citizens, and your continued apathy that will soon make Europe, Russia, Iran, Israel, and the United States go nuclear, the final full volley that kills us all. Nikita Khrushchev's great-granddaughter, a highly educated expert and author on Russian leadership and society, was interviewed on NPR. Nuclear attack on Ukraine may not be imminent, she said, because Putin might keep calm while slowly but surely advancing his troops beyond their Donbass front line. He has always planned and promised, though, to snatch victory from the jaws of large humiliation, provocation, or defeat with his gigantic, irresistible nuclear option, which so far he has blessedly deferred, because such a Pyrrhic victory would in many ways for many years devastate Russia too, and its world standing. But only if the rather certain, instantly caused world nuclear holocaust unaccountably failed to end everyone's troubles. A similar calculus explains many military analysts' shockingly complacent encouragement of every American-Ukrainian heavy weapon war action to keep crossing another dozen of Putin's constantly voiced Western conventional escalation nuclear red lines, because these often weaponeer-paid partisans assure us, all evidence to the contrary, that Vlad the Chicken will forever only keep clucking and bluffing. Stevie's point? They're wrong, you're dead. My emergency message to you and your 100% war business bought legislators and executives: draft and send the idiot pawns your House and Senate bill. Zelensky must today halt 100% of military actions with even the potential to kill Russian civilians in Russia, or lose every single American weapon and dollar. Stop flogging nuclear World War III, American and Ukrainian corrupt politicians, and instead pass American legislation to quickly build Ukraine frontline defense and all-nation aerial attack defense as impregnable as Israel's Iron Dome against all massive Iranian and Hezbollah sky attacks. The entire only alternative, all but completed humanity murder suicide that my every American listener 100% buys today just by sitting down and shutting up. Zelensky keeps bombing and killing Russian innocents. Then Putin has to drop 100 giant nuclear bombs on Ukraine. You know the rest. Close every window. Sit down, pull your head way down between your knees, and kiss your ass goodbye. Israel just mass murdered inside the 100th Gaza refugee camp, claiming the necessary wasting of many high Hamas leaders hiding in their midst. Quite often, great IDF aerial intelligence did verify such Hamas human shield strategy. Then, wasting them all anyway has always been just peachy with 250 million American taxpayers who bought yesterday's 3 2,000-pounders that blasted bloody shreds of a dozen Palestinian children out of the giant new craters in the camp teeming with refugees from, you guessed it, the same damn bombers. So how many Gazans today are homeless, hungry, thirsty, sick, hopeless, despairing refugees? All 2.3 million. So what's next? Netanyahu just began and will also never end residential apartment bombing across the West Bank, full of terrorists that we made. Kill them all. No, triple the number. The majority of his nation never stopped screaming for ceasefire with hostage return, promised for a simple temporary withdrawal of IDF troops across Gaza's Egypt border, replaced by an international force pledged to report any penetration of weapons to Hamas. Instead, Netanyahu has stonewalled the deal for months. Only strength frees the hostages, he's always claimed. So he sent an attacking IDF force to violently spring them loose. Naturally, Hamas shot 6 young ones in the head, who are all on the spurned deal release list, before escaping with their lives. Peace through strength. Warriors 10,000 year big lie. Well, everyone else's utter tragedy is peachy with Bibi too. because any peace deal only fast-tracks him to his domestic war crime tribunal, massive electoral defeat, and old man death in jail for multiple bribery and fraud convictions. So what else is new? The likely next criminal American president, second-termer, is also about to seize power and flog ever worse Mideast war for an identical get-out-of-jail-free card. I've detailed your simple ban of Ukraine attack weapon imports to save the world. Now, you also demand congressional law banning already illegal bombs to Israel, forever binding on all future commander-in-chiefs, bestial as they like. Just defang them. Simply prohibit one more American bomb that could even blow back the hair of one little Palestinian girl 200 yards away from any 100 Hamas scumbags deserving death. One more time, and every American weapon goes home for decades. Have I explained that this would just tighten already massively trashed American and world law against perpetrating or exporting to proxies deliberate or claimed accidental civilian war murder? 5 times? Sorry, I keep losing my temper. For 10,000 years and barely a couple more, weapons sellers rule their world, not yours, wimps. Why must you take charge? Because you sure as hell can't take cover. So get cracking fast before I duct tape you to a chair and scream at you another 30 hours. Besides, the actions and laws that only you could save us all with will totally eclipse my pathetic amateur efforts. If you refuse to take over, instead allowing American proxy war client Israel to permanently savage 100% of Palestinians, then Netanyahu, Hamas, Harris or Trump, and Iran's Ayatollah will all grow their totally mutual war weapons sales, profit, and power conspiracy to their careers or our world's end, whichever comes first. Just as Russia may delay nuclear revenge on Ukraine out of faint realization of terrible consequences, not just glorious victory for them, so Iran just might hold off nuking Tel Aviv. It is true that each and all Mideast warmongers that I've detailed endlessly profit from permanent hate, insurrection, occupation, and the abuse and suffering of us 99%, all merely seeking life, care, and love. 100% the opposite of the evil 1% rulers killing without limit for money, power, and hate. Did you know that sane American leaders could prevent Iran's nukes with economic relief from crippling sanctions? Never mind if you can't be bothered to elect sane American leaders. Alternatively, before you hear me, Iran certainly could have enriched to bomb-grade 30 or 40 pounds of uranium. All of their civil and military leaders know that sneaking just 2 5-pound hunks into Tel Aviv to smack them together with dynamite fully wins their 70-year war. But only for about 10 minutes, because the headless IDF monster will still return 100 times greater death of nearly all Iranians from their still certainly launched 200 nuclear missile force. However, countless and ever-increasing terrorists that every world weaponeer and baby killer has created and incited for 80 years since Hiroshima will forever be skulking near well-guarded Iranian or quite poorly guarded Russian fissile fuel sites. They all have exactly 0 sense, sanity, or desire to survive. They only crave and seek total humanity death to punish all hated infidels and serve their vicious version of Allah, who will surely reward all doomsday conspirators against Jewish devils with 72 virgins apiece forever in heaven, somehow way sexier and fleshier than prudish Christians' afterlife. My message to these fools is instead, please love, care for, respect, and diddle all you can while helping us and you to live. Everyone's first commandment from God and Allah too is thou shalt not kill. The true God loves all, not just his favored sect. Problem is, God's no-kill order was 10,000 years impotent, while his human creation ever kept growing, not destroying weapons of mass murder. So isn't God's real prohibition against the goddamned weapons? Now, I have a question for my Christian listeners. Will you gain even a shred of hope or reassurance from God by just begging him to place Russian and Iranian terror nukes in wise, safe hands? Especially because you can't be bothered to legally and physically remove genocidal weapons and armies from all power-corrupted hands. Why haven't you ever asked him for his judgment, an answer that's only been echoing off every majestic mountain for 10,000 battle-savaged anti-human years? Just listen and you will hear. I'm desperate to ban bullies' bribes, bombs, and battalions, but I can't. That's why I made my humans with brains, muscles, hands, and voices 1,000 times more powerful, godlike, and almighty than sweet little formless, ethereal spirit me. 100% of my loving power is not mine, but yours. I created you free, muscular agents to decide and act for good or evil, love or hate, wisdom or stupidity, greed or generosity, and kindness or malice. You may help or hurt all, enshrine lawful peace, or build institutions of theft, abuse, bigotry, hate, evil, and war. But since men threw loving matriarchs out of power, you have only made thousands of political and military laws for power-mad, savage genocide. I may only beg, but you can end your anti-human rules and replace them with good, loving laws for disarmament and love education, which will win the peace you must have to survive. Now you have about 1 billion sickos working only for power war. Don't you know that my 1 billion family lovers hammering love laws would kick their sorry asses back to selling used cars? But 1 million techno-worlds never heard one word of mine, and now everyone's a scorched ice ball. I don't order, I pray. To you, I only care. I inspire. You, big, strong, living beings, decide and act. You save each other. Only you realize my love, our love. So are you that love or not? You are? Good. Prove it. Act. Make love law. Now. Always. Amen. Ha ha!